Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. This match is going to be between Flash and Reach, part of the Killer series. Star Killer will not reveal whether it's Protoss or Terran Killer. Cover up the bottom right hand part of the screen, about the bottom right third, if you don't want that revealed. We have Flash starting at the 4 o'clock position as the yellow Terran. 9 o'clock position we have Reach as the red Protoss, and it's going to be on Tau Cross. It's part of Winners League. It was actually played around February 2nd. I really like Tau Cross. It's one of those maps that's extremely balanced, just about 50% for Protoss, 50% for Terran. I think it's one of those maps that tends to favor Terran just slightly because they can play. All they have to do is make sure they get a couple expansions, get a couple key positions, and I feel like it's kind of a step-by-step process for Terran. It's, you know, get your expansion, get your next expansion, make sure you stay up in upgrades, and then solidify these key points. And then for the Protoss, what they really have to do is continually harass the Terran when they're moving out, and just macro like a fiend, try to take out as much as the map as possible. At least that's been my experience with this. And I think it's one of those maps that I feel like Python kind of teaches you a lot, that's going back to the really standard maps that just get played over and over again. Tau Cross is definitely, I think, in those ranks. Python's one of those maps that can teach you a lot about map positions and ramp play. I think Tau Cross is one of those maps that can teach you about map artifacts and kind of unit positioning in general. So there are ramps, and I think those are the key positions for Terran to either get across or hold behind. Because that's the thing is if Terran can get across a ramp that's kind of towards the, what is that, the 7 o'clock position or around the 3 o'clock position, they can really just play camper Terran and solidify the game, get that one base ahead, or just let Protoss just careen their units into them. And this might actually not do well for Reach, because Reach is one of those guys who's extremely aggressive. He's gotten that name Mantos for a reason. He takes every opportunity to attack that he can, and he's really, he's one of those guys that's been extremely consistent over the long haul. Even when Protoss were really in dire straits, he was still successful. Unfortunately, he's been an ace for a while. Flash is still at his prime comparatively, I would say. He's not too far off his prime. He's still at over 60% in all of his matchups, almost 70% versus Protoss, whereas Reach has been on Air Force Ace and as a result hasn't been able to practice comparatively as much. So, but I will not knock Reach out of any match. I'm not ever going to say that Reach can't take a match down because he's just such a dangerous player. It's like saying, oh yeah, Boxer can't take this, because you never know. I mean, it's Boxer. And I think that's a second scout, so it looks like Reach is in fact going to go for a proxy. Let's see if he decides to go for proxy Reavers or if he's going to go for proxy DTs, sending that probe out to the 3 o'clock position. And that third scout, because this is a 3-player map, essentially by scouting that upper right-hand corner, he'll know where Flash's base is ultimately. And if he is going for that proxy robotics facility, that'll end up working well because he's right outside of Flash's base. I feel like robotics facility is really nice because you can get that Reaver and there's a lot of room. It's hard to harass the secondary in my opinion, but there's a lot of room over the main with that. There's just kind of this wall, and there's a lot of space essentially where that Reaver can just go in, get some damage done, really slow the Terran player down while that Protoss is expanding like crazy. But never mind, not going to see Reavers here. That is a Citadel of Adun, which really suggests we're going to see some Dark Templar. So skipping Dragoon range. Now this is going to be critical. First of all, can Reach stop that SCV? And two, will Flash's instincts serve him right? Will he notice the lack of Dragoons and also the lack of Dragoon range? Although I'm trying to remember, my timing isn't this good yet, where I can say that Dragoon range should be up by the time Flash's scout is wandering around. But at the very least, Flash will notice specifically no Dragoon pressure, and two, only one Dragoon going up to attack him. And usually you'll see more Dragoons if there's and Dragoon range, I think, at this stage, if you're going to be running into a Protoss opponent. It looks like that SCV, oh, this is huge. SCV is going to get blockaded off, so this is going to be really, that's incredible. Incredible. That is really going to open this up for Reach. He's got that Templar Archives already warping in and a proxy gateway as well. Now, yeah, Flash is sensing it. He's like, okay, not enough Dragoons out in the field, and I'm not really feeling the pressure, so there should have been something else. Let me start sending out my Marines to start hunting for something. He senses that. He knows there's got to be a proxy out somewhere in the field. It looks like he's got that SCV coming out to the 9. Will he find it at the 9 o'clock position? The SCV, oh, it's just going to... Oh, no, it is going to find it. So he is going to, in fact, find this proxy gateway. He is, in fact, going to see the DTs coming, and he should be able to prepare. He'll get that engineering bay down. The other nice thing about Tau Cross is you can block off your own entrance fairly easily as Terran or Protoss just by putting a supply depot or a pylon down. So there's that engineering bay. But what this will do is this isn't a complete wash for Reach just yet. He's going to have a hard time, especially when mines are upgraded, defending that gateway, because once mines get planted in front of it, he'll be in a bad position. But he still might be able to sneak a Dark Templar across that area. He still might be able to harass that secondary, at least keep that from going up for a while. Maybe if he can just get enough Dragoons in position, he'll be able to defend that and get a base. But he's definitely in a tough situation. Only 2 Dragoons on the front door, and it looks like Flash is in fact going to seal himself in at this stage. Let's see, there's that first Dark Templar coming across. Looks like a pylon on the front, maybe to limit some Vulture movement into the mid-game. That is one thing, though, is Vultures end up being very strong, especially when they sneak out like this, against this sort of thing, because first of all, Dark Templar, they die on mines. 2 mines, you kill a Dark Templar. But on top of that, because you're skipping Dragoon range and you're skipping the robotics facility, mines and Vultures, they're just great. So good against Dragoons. So Dragoons trying to go up, trying to stop that front door from going up. Looks like that turret already up, so Flash in good position to fight this off. 1 mine being planted there to the mid position just to limit movement a little bit. It looks like he saw that waver and he was trying to catch a Dark Templar out on the field. But 2 more Dark Templar are going to wander up. Let's see if this Vulture might be able to get into the base. Reach needs... Oh, takes a hit right there on that Dark Templar. I think Reach of yesteryear wouldn't have let that happen. Looks like he is going to be able to kill that additional Vulture, no problem. And now Flash starting to move out. Going to plant mines on his merry way. That Dark Templar not going to be in position in time to stop that. And these Vultures actually have free reign. They should be able to run up, kills a couple probes. The rest of the Dark Templar are going to just settle down and try to keep that secondary going up for long as possible and maintain an economic... Actually, no, there's a pylon blockade, so a single pylon should be able to stop that. Those Dragoons in open field are not going to be able to stop those Vultures, but they should be able to cycle out to that 3 o'clock location, drop a couple mines, and then, yeah, that gateway is going to be all but nullified. Now the robotics facility going up, but Flash isn't in too terrible a position. He can still... Ooh, a Dark Templar blockade. That's nice. So Reach is going to have to micro this a little bit to make sure that mines don't get planted, take out that Dark Templar that's plugging that gap. Just maybe. And as a result, yeah, he's going to be able to get his secondary up ahead of Flash's, which is exactly what he wants to do, and then he has to really concentrate on taking that third base, either that 9 or 3. Looks like he's going to get a couple free Marine kills. Run, Dark Templar! Oh, it looks like it's going to get wiped out. Second Dark Templar is going to hide in the corner. That's going to delay Flash even longer. Looks like no mine's not going to get planted. 1 mine does manage to get a hit on that Dark Templar. 1 more mine will kill it, as I mentioned earlier. But in the meantime, it's holding in that back edge. It should be able to keep that command center up. That'll give Reach some time, first of all, to get an observatory, also make up the damages of the losses that he's going to be taking at the 3 o'clock position, inevitably, of that gateway Citadel of Adun. Looks like some Vultures headed that direction now. And because he's able to delay that command center a bit, he should be pretty good going into the mid-game, even though he is losing a significant amount of tech here. Because keep in mind, what's the key of Tau Cross is staying economically ahead of your Terran opponent and making sure you punish him when he lifts up and moves out for a Protoss. And it looks like he's going to take out that pylon right there to disable all that tech, at least disable that gateway here. Not planting any mines. Doesn't look like Reach is producing anything there anyway. But still doesn't have a secondary up. The Dark Templar is still chilling there. It looks like it's still pinned to that corner. This is the other thing is the reason he's not just running in and planning it anyway is because if those mines are there, that Dark Templar could run in and just explode a whole lot of SCVs on that mineral line. So that's working out pretty well for Reach. So yeah, all that unpowered looks like it's going to fall steadily to that Vulture harass. And now Reach has been in a pretty good position just to macro up, losing that Dark Templar finally, but that command center has been significantly delayed, and it'll have to be lifted off and taken out. Looks like 3 gateways down. Is going to lose that tech, but again, he's not going to be in too terrible a position to go out, take another base. Looks like he's also got a shuttle out. Maybe he's got some Dark Templar in there as well. And this is, yeah, he's got to have 2 Dark Templar in there, and this is a good space to do it. There's just so much room back there. SCV's flooding off through the line to try to protect that turret. Looks like they are going to be able to protect that turret, but they're, no protection across that factory, so tank gonna get killed. 1 tank gonna get killed. Looks like the Dark Templar taking a couple hits there, but still alive, still gonna be able to do some harassment here. Never mind running headlong into those mines, both of them getting taken out as a result. But that shuttle critically still inside Flash's base, still gonna be able to do some scouting. Gonna see those 2 machine shops, gonna see that armory, so that weapons 1 going along the way, and also seeing those SCVs transfer. And an observer out in the field, gonna see those Vultures coming across. Looks like Flash is... Oh, man. Flash is playing really aggressive. This is actually really intelligent play. He's already taking that bottom left-hand expansion, knowing that Reach, because he's lost all of that at the 3 o'clock, and because he's got to try to play that economic play-ahead game, that he's really not going to have the troops to deal with both a Vulture harass coming out to that 1 o'clock and basically keep that from going up, that expansion, which is really nice play, I've got to say. So he is going to be able to take that 3rd expansion before Reach can really establish his 3rd. Going to take an economic lead as a result. And he'll be able to actually work this game exactly the way he wants to from this stage on. It looks like that is, I assume that's Siege upgrading at this stage. I'm surprised Siege actually hasn't already been upgraded. So Reach actually might have had an opportunity had he pushed out right there. It looks like instead he's going to try to play an economic catch-up game, immediately going to a Stargate. to probably get out the Arbiter and go for, or sorry, to get the Arbiter Tribunal, get some Arbiters out in the map. Very critical once those bridges start getting established. So now the key to the game for Reach is try to establish position that bottom right hand corner before Flash establishes position there. Somehow defend that 1, and I like Vultures on this map for that reason, is because they can just run around and be annoying at that 1 o'clock. Keep the Protoss attack force back. When the Protoss attack force, really what it wants to try to concentrate on is, running headlong into a mine there, is harassing that Terran army as it's moving around, especially across these bridges. You can see Reach just trying to keep an eye out here. An Engineering Bay just kind of floating out there to provide somewhat of an obstacle. And Flash, just a macro beast. He's actually got a lot more units on the ground at this stage than I thought. And here's Reach doing his thing, moving out, being aggressive, going to clear that minefield in the face of some siege tanks here. Might end up losing a Dragoon. Looks like he did take a hit. He isn't going to lose any Dragoons, so nice reaction time. A shuttle wandering up as well. If he gets some speed, actually, he might be able to do a Zealot Bomb over that location. I'm not sure that has enough defense.